let me just remind you of this process, because this process gave way or created the way for new thinking, for breakthrough models, collaboration of insurers and suppliers and brokers in the industry through frustration analysis said, let's create a better experience in the first 72 hours. And we're not pioneering this, guys. We're actually 10 years behind. You heard Remco talk, with those who were in the Remco session yesterday, the banking financial sector has been doing this. We're investing for 10 years, been planning it for 20. But our time's now, in terms of insurance. So the concept is, I say concept because you haven't seen it, so I've got to say concept. We've built it, it's in. So you're looking at live assessment triage, see what the customer sees. So you've got a policyholder who doesn't want to repeat themselves over and over and over again because it's 3:30 in the morning and they've just had this significant event happen to their property. They just want to tell you what's happened and hopefully someone's going to act straight away. I say that in plain English, but that's exactly what they want. So if we had the ability to connect validate a policyholder and identify the customer immediately, and then on the flip side of it, we've got a mechanism that just connects a policyholder immediately to someone who's technical and can create a visual view of what's happening at their property. So let's just use a very simple claim. That's, if you don't know what that on the left-hand side, that's a burglar. Burglar's jumped the fence, he's kicked the door in and he's stolen the TV. Let's just use a very, very simple claim because I want to question the relevance of why we would wait 2 weeks for an assessor to turn up. A policyholder is immediately identified and lodges a claim with the broker. The claims administrator, they get set up on a SMS, so they get an SMS sent out to their phone and we can connect them directly. What that looks like is, it looks like this. We enter in their phone number, we send out the SMS, it goes out to their insurance hotline. The insurance hotline gives them, whilst they're still on the phone to me, so I'm able to walk them through this process. We're able to connect them straight away and directly. It goes through to their phone. I can see what they can see immediately. So what was stolen in the house, Mrs. Smith? Well, where did the damage occur, Mrs. Smith? Where was the TV position, Mrs. Smith? Have you got some form of validation? You've got the TV. Yeah, I've actually still got it in the box. It's a Samsung Curve TV. I only put it up last week. And the ability to be able to have a general conversation, a technical conversation to capture all the information. Is your door safe and secure? No, it's not. 3:30 in the morning, let me send out my carpenter to make sure we can secure that damage. Can you take some photos, Mrs. Smith? And the ability to be able to see all this instantaneously and act on it instantaneously, right, is light years away from where we are right now, which is waiting 2 weeks sometimes for action to happen. Certainly 21 days. And the other applicability is if we've got a car involved. So let's just have a look at a large tree on a car, which again in Darwin is relevant. So from a motor side and a property side, you can capture the same. So you've got, I'm not suggesting we're going to bring these processes together. Certainly not saying you need to bring these processes together, but I'm just showing the applicability of being able to capture the car damage, and I'm using a different car here because the one under that tree you wouldn't have been able to capture. But as an example here, you're able to get live video streaming straight through and just check out the damage of the car. I'm sure there's other people out there. I spoke to a gentleman in risk last night who would like to be able to go out and assess or see properties in terms of before he writes the risk. SMS straight to the policyholder who wants to write the business with you. Measure the risk, drive time, travel time. And in Darwin particularly, or in Northern Territory particularly, when my assessors have got to drive 800 kilometres to get to a job. My old man works in Western Queensland in Toowoomba and he's got to drive 8 hours west to Kalamata, which is west. It's almost in your Northern Territory, it's almost over the border. He's got to drive 8 hours west. He doesn't drive 8 hours west anymore. He rings the customer and he just sends them an SMS and says, let me see what you can see. Now, so there's implications there from a service perspective, but there's also implications of cost, particularly when we're charging $1.40 a kilometre. And you've got to drive 800 kilometres, and someone's paying for that. So there's better ways and new ways if a few folks get together and think about and collaborate on uses of technology like this. So what you just saw then was a 21-day process condensed into first notification of loss, one call. So I had a live lodgement, first notification of loss, I validated contents, I visually ID'd the causation and the damage. I might have arranged emergency services, the carpenter to come out and make sure the door was nice and secure at 3:30 in the morning, as opposed to having to wait at 7. And I was able to take action and potentially take photos and complete an assessment report. And on that type of claim, I might not have even had to go to site because I actually was on site. Now there'll be some in the room that'll say why that process can't work. Yeah, there might be people who say that. But versus what we're currently doing now in terms in the property space, we're a long way off being in the ER room where we're making life and death decisions and saving patients' lives. We've got the ability here to be able to connect folks who, I've got to say, at 3:30 in the morning, if a tree landed on my roof, I'd want to share that information to the quickest person as possible to make sure my property was damaged. My property was safe and secure as quickly as possible. So customers are saying, I want it faster, easier, better. I want my problems to be fixed. If that service was available, I would pay more. If I had that service, my deflection rate could generate 25 to 125% profit. So I'm just drawing all those things together in terms of a conclusion, because what it takes is over the next so for that 72 hours, and the people who need to get involved in processes like that, and just remember, this is only just one component. This is the first 72 hours of a claim. And for those who manage different claims, the applicability of this technology or others is just as relevant. So what we've been able to do in that first 72 hours, and generally what we'll be able to do across all claim lines in the future, if insurers and brokers and providers collaborate on better ways of doing business, will be revolutionary, and it's happening now. So the question you just need to ask is whether you want to be a participator or a spectator, because unfortunately the spectators' businesses won't be as healthy or as profitable into the future as they need to be, and customers will make a choice. My wife will never stand in HEF line again. She'll always swipe her card, and she'll always expect that card to be swiped back, because she'll never want to drag the 3 kids into HEF at a Westfield shopping centre ever again. So those companies have changed the way we've done business with them forever.